Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Well, it's cold out there and it's warm in here, and I hope in your homes too as we celebrate Shabbat together. We will begin this evening in our Siddur on page 7. Where has this week vanished? Is it lost forever? Will I ever recover anything from it? The joy of life, the unexpected victory, the realized hope, the task accomplished. Will I ever be able to banish the memory of pain, the sting of defeat, the heaviness of boredom? On this day, let me keep for a while what must drift away. On this day, let me be free of the burdens that must return. On this day, Shabbat, abide. Help me to withdraw for a while from the flight of time, contain the retreat of the hours and days from the grasp of frantic life. Let me learn to pause, if only for this day. Let me find peace on this day. Let me enter into a quiet world this day. On this day, Shabbat, abide. We continue with the lighting of the Shabbat candles on pages 2 and 3. We continue in the middle of page 10 as we sing Yedid Nefesh. Turn to page 20 and 21 as we prepare to welcome in the Shabbat Kala with the singing of Lecha Dodi. We'll sing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. When we come to the last verse, we rise together as a community wherever we are, face the door of your home, and we'll welcome in the Shabbat bride.
Rakalai, Yalalai, 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 Pnei Shabbat, Lekabelai, Lecha Dodi, Rakalai, Yalalai, 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 Pnei Shabbat, Lekabelai, Shamor v'Zachor v'Dibor Echad, Ishmianu El HaMeyuchad, Adonai Echad, U'Shemo Echad, L'Shemo Tiferet B'Litchila, Lecha Dodi Rakalai, Yalalai, 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 Pnei Shabbat, Lekabelai, Lecha Dodi Rakalai, Yalalai, 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 Pnei Shabbat, Lekabelai, Likrat Shabbat, Lechoven Elcha, Ki Mekor HaBaracha, Meroshot Mikedem, Nisucha, Sof Naaseh B'Machshavat Techila, Lecha Dodi Rakalai, Yalalai, 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 Pnei Shabbat, Lekabelai, Lecha Dodi Rakalai, Yalalai, 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 Pnei Shabbat, Lekabelai.
Verse 5.
Hitoreri, hitoreri, kiva ore kumiori, uri, uri, shiata beri, kivod Adonai, alayik nigla, lecha dodi rakalai, yalalai, 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 pnei Shabbat, lekabelai, lecha dodi rakalai, yalalai, 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 pnei Shabbat, lekabelai.
We rise, verse 9.
Bo'yeh v'shalom ateret ba'ala, gam b'simcha ufzola, toch emunei am zgola, bo'yeh hala, bo'yeh hala, lecha dodi rakalai, yalalai, 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 pnei Shabbat, lekabelai, lecha dodi rakalai, yalalai, 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 pnei Shabbat, lekabelai.
We continue singing Shalom Aleichem on page 24.
Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaSharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei HaMlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Ruachem l'shalom, malachei ha'shalom, malachei elyon, melech malachei ha'mlachim, hakadosh baruch hu. Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaSharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei HaMlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Barchuni l'shalom, malachei ha'shalom, malachei elyon, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Hayon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzidem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Hayon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Hayon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Page 145.
Yitkadash Merabah, Yamadi Barach Hirotev Yamlich Machotei, Bechayechon Yom Echon, Uchayedecho Beit Yisrael, Agal Mizman Kariv, V'himru Amen. Yesh Merabah Mevorach, Le'olam Yomer Halayah. Yitvarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitrom v'yitmaseh v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitala shemei kodesham b'richu le'elam min kol berchata v'shirata tushechata v'nechamata damiram yama v'yimeru.
Amen. We rise.
Baruch Hu, et Adonai, Amevorach. Baruch Adonai,
Baruch Adonai,
Amevorach,
Amevorach,
Leolam,
Leolam,
Moed.
Amen.
Baruch Hu, et Adonai, Amevorach. Baruch Hu, et Adonai, Amevorach. Baruch Adonai, Havorach, Leolam Moed. Baruch Adonai, Havorach, Leolam Moed. Baruch Hu, et Adonai, Amevorach. Baruch Hu, et Adonai, Amevorach. Baruch Adonai, Havorach, Leolam Moed. Baruch Adonai, Havorach, Leolam Moed.
Page 147. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv arabim, b'chochma poteach she'arim, uvitvuna mishane itim, ומחליף את הזמנים, ומסדר את הכוכבים במשמרותיהם ברקיע כרצונו. בורא יום ולילה, גולל אור מפני חושך וחושך מפני אור, ומעביר יום ומביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו. אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, המעריב ערבים.
אהבת עולם, בית ישראל, עמך אהבת. תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, שופטנו וקומנו נשיח לחוקך ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם הבא. כי הם חיינו באורך ימינו ובהם נגיע יומם ולילה. מאהבתך תסר ממנו לעולמים, ברוך אתה אדוני
וברוך שמו.
אוהב עמו ישראל.
אמן.
Shema
Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Baruch Shema Kevod Malchuto Leolam Abed.
Please be seated.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך. ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובמלאכתך בדרך ושוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם כל מצוותי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
On page 151, we worship the power that unites the universe, a promise of harmony for all.
Yet the oneness eludes our grasp as imperfection and evil abound.
Before our eyes, there is a vision of perfection, order, and goodness.
There is evil enough to break the heart, and there is good enough to exalt the soul.
When will redemption come?
when we grant everyone what we claim for ourselves.
Long ago, we escaped the tyranny of Egypt. Our people saw the power of the Most High.
We learned God's presence redeems time and event, so we celebrate this power that makes for freedom. ונאמר, כי ודאי אדוני את יעקב וגולו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני, קהל ישראל.
Amen. Page 153. Give us a place to rest, O God. Shelter us in the long, soft evening shadows of your truth. You are true protection and safety. In your presence we find love and acceptance. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours.
Baruch atah Adonai, haborei sukat shalom aleinu v'yakol amo Yisrael v'yal Yerushalayim.
Amen. Page 154.
V'shameru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asod et ha-Shabbat lidorotam berit olam. V'shameru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asod et ha-Shabbat lidorotam berit olam. Shabbat, la'asod et ha-Shabbat, lidorotam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim, asa Adonai et ha-shamayim v'et haaretz v'shameru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asod et ha-Shabbat, lidorotam berit olam. Umayom hashvi'i, Shabbat v'yinufos, v'shameru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asod et ha-Shabbat, lidorotam berit olam.
We rise for tefillah on page 155.
my mouth may declare your praise. Adonai, Sifatai Tifach, Ufi Agidei Latecha. Adonai, Sifatai Tifach, Ufi Agidei Latecha. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol HaGibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei Hakol, V'Zocher Chasdei Avot Ve'imot, U'Mevei Geula Libnei B'neiam, Leman Shemo B'Yahava, Melech Ozer Moshiach Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham v'Ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, B'chayei metim atah Rav le'Hoshia, Mashiv haruach u'morid ha'gashem, Mechalel chayim b'chesed, B'chayei metim b'rachamim rabim, Nomek novlim v'rofei cholim, U'matir asurim, U'mekayem emunato, B'shenei afar, B'chalocha v'gevorot, U'midol melech, Melech meimit u'mechayeh, U'mat miach Yeshua, B'ne'eman atah l'chayot metim, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayei hametim. Atah kadosh u'shimcha kadosh, u'kdoshim b'chol yom yahalu chazela. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
Please be seated. Page 159. Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Ritzei v'Imnuchatenu.
Kadeshenu b'mitzvotecha, v'tein chalkeinu b'toratecha, v'tein chalkeinu b'toratecha, v'sabeinu mitovecha. Kadeshenu b'mitzvotecha, v'tein chalkeinu b'toratecha, v'tein chalkeinu b'toratecha, v'sabeinu mitovecha. Sabeinu, sabeinu mitovecha, v'samcheinu, v'samcheinu, v'samcheinu b'shuatecha. Kadeshenu b'mitzvotecha, v'tein halkeinu b'toratecha, v'tein halkeinu b'toratecha. Kadeshenu b'mitzvotecha, v'tein halkeinu b'toratecha, v'tein halkeinu b'toratecha. Kadeshenu b'mitzvotecha, v'tein halkeinu b'toratecha, v'tein halkeinu b'toratecha. Kadeshenu b'mitzvotecha v'tein chalkeinu b'toratecha v'tein chalkeinu b'toratecha. Kadeshenu b'mitzvotecha v'tein chalkeinu b'toratecha v'tein chalkeinu b'toratecha v'sabeinu mitovecha.
Page 161. Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu, be'amcha Yisrael, u'tefilatam be'ahava tekabel, u'tehila ratzon tamid avodat Yisrael amecha, el karov lechol korav, panei el avadecha v'chonenu, shefoch ruchacha aleinu, v'techazena einenu b'tshuvcha letzion berachamim, baruch ata Adonai, hamachazir shechinato letzion.
Moedim anachnu lach, she'ata hu Adonai Eloheinu, Elohei avoteinu ve'imoteinu, le'olam va'ed, le'olam va'ed. Moedim anachnu lach, she'ata hu Adonai Eloheinu, Elohei avoteinu ve'imoteinu, le'olam va'ed, le'olam va'ed. Tzurchayenu, magen yishenu, ata ledor vador. Modim anachnu lach, she'ata hu Adonai Eloheinu, Elohei avoteinu ve'imoteinu, le'olam va'ed, le'olam va'ed. Le'yaladu et shimcha be'emet, ha'el yeshuateinu v'ezrateinu, Selah, Selah. Moedim anachnu lach, she'ata hu Adonai Eloheinu, Elohei avoteinu ve'imoteinu, le'olam va'ed, le'olam va'ed. Baruch ata Adonai, hatov shimacha, u'lachana lechol tot. Amen.
We continue with Shalom Rav, our prayer for peace on page 164.
Shalom Rav, Yisrael hamacha tasim leolam. Shalom Rav, Yisrael hamacha tasim leolam. Ki ata hu melech adon, lecha shalom.
Ki ata hu melech adon, lechol ha'shalom.
V'tov beinecha, levarech
We take a few moments now to pray or meditate in silence. Our healing prayer is on page 253.
Bless the ones before us. Help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing. And let us say, Amen.
Misheberach avotenu ve'imotenu, Avraham, Yitzchak ve'Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel ve'Leah, hu yivarech et hacholim. We ask God's blessing upon those we love who are in need of healing. If you have someone in mind for whom our healing prayer might bring comfort, please say their name aloud now. HaKadosh Baruch Hu yimalei rachamim aleihem, lahachalimam ulerapotam ulahachazikam, vayishlach lehem mehera refuah, refuah shleima min hashamayim, refuat hanefesh urefuat haguf, hashta be'agala uvizman kariv v'imru. Amen.
Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
This week we read Parashat Truma, Karen's bat mitzvah portion way back in 1989. I had the honor of officiating as a first-year student rabbi, and to make the occasion even more special, I wrote her a piece of music, Hakel et Ha'am, which later became the title of Hartzion's CD that came out in 2009. The portion consists mostly of the instructions for the building of the Mishkan, the tabernacle in the wilderness that the Israelites used for worship until the temple was built in Jerusalem. If you like architecture or interior design, you'll love this portion. Otherwise, maybe not so much. But the first section of the portion involves Moses asking the Israelites to make donations, truma, to help build the tabernacle. He asks for gold, silver, copper, cloths of various kinds, precious and semi-precious stones, wood, and animal skins. It is quite an undertaking. But it is clear that what God and Moses want from the people are voluntary gifts. This building will not be funded by dues or taxes, as many other community expenses are. That is very much the way we make improvements to our building or build new synagogues, through capital campaigns that come in addition to regular synagogue giving. And on top of that, of course, we are obligated to give tzedakah as well to sustain those who are in need. With that in mind, on the theme of giving, I found this lovely story about giving that I'd like to share with you. It's called The Rabbi and the Rag Dealer. It's of Hasidic origin, as retold by Barbara Diamond Golden. When Chaim the rag dealer died, the townspeople were very surprised to see the great Berdichever Rebbe at his funeral. The Berdichever Rebbe didn't come to everyone's funeral. Why the rag dealers? Even a wealthy rag dealers. But then the great Rebbe spoke. I am here because of 3 lawsuits that came to my rabbinic court involving Chaim the rag dealer. The first one was many years ago when Chaim was a middle-aged man and had worked hard to build up his business. At that time, there was a Jewish man named Avram who had just been released from the Tsar's army. For 40 miserable years, Avram served as a soldier. He saved thousands of rubles, which he tied in a red kerchief to carry with him. With these savings, he hoped to marry and set himself up in a business. One day, Avram walked the streets of our town, Berdichev, trying to decide what business he should pursue. That night, he took a room at an inn, and when he reached for the kerchief and money, they were gone, lost in the streets somewhere. Now, Avram was lost. Early the next morning, he walked to the river, so desolate and downcast that he was prepared to throw himself in. Now, in the early mornings, it was Chaim the rag dealer's habit to walk along the riverbank to start his day. And he saw this sorrowful-looking man. Is something wrong? Chaim asked Avram. Nothing you can help me with. Perhaps I can. Tell me. And so Avram told Chaim about his red kerchief and his lost money. I can help you, said Chaim happily. I found that very same kerchief and money in the streets yesterday and was wondering to whom it belonged. Come back to my house and I'll show you. Now, of course, Chaim had not found the man's kerchief, but he took one of his own, wrapped the exact amount of money in it that was lost, and gave all this to Avram. Convinced that Chaim's kerchief and money were his, Avram felt as happy as the day he'd been discharged from the Tsar's army. News traveled quickly through Berdichev about Chaim finding Avram's money. That news reached the ears of Pesha, the very man who had found the real kerchief and money in the street. Chaim's good deed gnawed at Pesha's conscience. He felt worse and worse about keeping the money he had found. Eventually, Pesha went to Chaim. He explained that he was the one who had really found the money, but when he tried to give the money to Chaim to repay him for his kind deed, Chaim would not take it. This has nothing to do with my money, said Chaim. I saw that I could save a man, and I did. You take this money and return it to Avram. It is his. So Pesha brought Chaim to court. Imagine bringing someone to court because he wouldn't take money. In the end, we judged the case in Chaim's favor. He did not have to take the money, since it was actually the ex-soldiers. Now, the second time Chaim appeared in my court was a few years later. Of course, I remembered Chaim well from the first time. This time, Yonah, a teacher, appeared in court with Chaim and told this story. I was a poor teacher, and I went to another town to see if I could get a better paying job. But my wife, Rachel, was afraid to let me go. She was worried about how she and our child would live while I was gone. I told her that I would arrange for her to borrow 5 kopecks a week from Chaim the rag dealer, and she agreed. While I was gone, I realized I had forgotten to make arrangements with Chaim for the loan. So as soon as I found a job, I hurried home. To my relief, I saw that my wife and son were in good health, and I asked Rachel how she managed while I was away. With Chaim's 5 kopecks a week, of course, was her answer. After I explained to Rachel how I had forgotten to make arrangements with Chaim for the loan, the two of us hurried to his house to repay him. Alas, he would not take our money, and that is why I have brought him to your court. Chaim told the court that since Yonah had made no arrangement to borrow the 5 kopecks each week, the money was a gift, and Yonah and Rachel could not repay when Chaim chose to give as tzedakah. I could not help but smile at such an odd case, said the Rebbe. Here were 2 people desperate to give money to someone who refused to take it. But once again, the courts decided in Chaim's favor. Tzedakah is tzedakah. Now the third case. I recognized Chaim at once, though this case was many years later and Chaim was by now an old man. Tell me, who could forget such a man as Chaim? Chaim's third appearance in court proved to be as unusual as the first 2. After all, in court you usually see people who want money from other people, not people who are trying to give it back. This time, Gabriel, a rich man, had come upon hard times and asked Chaim to lend him 5,000 rubles to start up his business again. Of course, Chaim gave him the rubles. The man was so grateful that he said to Chaim as he left, "May God bless you 2-fold for your kindness." Shortly after, when Chaim went to the shul to pray, a friend of his told him about a nobleman who had gambled away so much of his money the night before at card playing that he was forced to sell his oxen very cheaply. "Buy the oxen," urged the friend. "It's a good deal. You have the money." "But I know nothing of oxen," protested Chaim. "I'm a rag dealer." The friend pestered and pestered Chaim about the good deal until Chaim finally gave in and bought the oxen from the nobleman for 5,000 rubles. The oxen proved to be a good deal, as the friend had said. Still knowing nothing of oxen, Chaim managed to turn around and sell them that very day for twice as much as he had paid. Eventually, this Gabriel appeared at Chaim's house to repay his 5,000 ruble loan. The loan had helped him, and he was rich again. However, Chaim would not take Gabriel's money. So Gabriel brought Chaim to our court. "Please convince Chaim to take his money back," said Gabriel. In his defense, Chaim said, "Gabriel won't listen. After he borrowed the money, he said that God should bless me and repay me 2-fold for my good deed. That very day, God did this and repaid me with 10,000 rubles. See? Gabriel doesn't owe me anything." If only we had cases such as this one every day, our worries would be over. For the third time, we judged in Chaim's favor. We told Gabriel, if you really want to give the money back, then use Chaim as an example and give it to tzedakah. And what an example this Chaim the rag dealer was. Now you know why I, the Berdichever Rebbe, have come to Chaim the rag dealer's funeral. It is to pay my respects to a most unusual and saintly man. Now the rabbis taught that no matter how much or what individual Israelites gave to the tabernacle, God loved their gift, since it came from the heart. May we follow their example in our giving, and that of Chaim, the rag dealer, as well. Amen. We turn in our Sidurim to the middle of page 282, and we rise for Aleinu.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'tekedu l'aliyot reshit, shelo asanu k'goyei haratzot, velo samanu k'mishpachot adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, v'gor aleinu k'chavonam. אנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
Page 285. Let the time not be distant, O God, when all shall turn to you in love, when corruption and evil shall give way to integrity and goodness, when superstition shall no longer enslave the mind, nor idolatry blind the eye. O may all created in your image become one in spirit and one in friendship, forever united in your service. Then shall your realm be established on earth and the word of your prophet fulfilled. Adonai will reign forever and ever.
Adonai, lemelech ha'oretz, vayom hahu, yeh Adonai echad.
Hayom hahu Adonai echad u'shemo echad.
Vayom hahu yeh Adonai echad.
Page 289. In nature's ebb and flow, God's eternal law abides. When tears dim our vision or grief clouds our understanding, we often lose sight of God's eternal plan. Yet we know that growth and decay, life and death all reveal a divine purpose. God, who is our support in the struggles of life, is also our hope in death. We have set God before us and shall not despair. In God's hands are the souls of all the living and the spirits of all flesh. Under God's protection we abide, and by God's love we are comforted. O life of our life, soul of our soul, cause your light to shine into our hearts and fill our spirits with abiding trust in you. Mourner's Kaddish is on page 294. At this time, our Hartzion family extends its sympathies to our members and their families who have suffered a recent loss. Lynn and Jerry Pressman, Beverly Tenser, Alyssa Weber, David Pressman and their families on the loss of their sister-in-law and aunt, Marcia Wallerstein. Alan Zelniker and Michelle Corman, Adam and Benjamin on the loss of their father, father-in-law, and grandfather, Jerry Zelniker. Marnie and Stephen Batcher, Jennifer and Jeremy on the loss of their father, father-in-law, and grandfather, Sheldon Sonnenberg. Shelley Zuckerman, Amir and Erica, Erez and Jillian on the loss of their husband, father, and father-in-law, Ilan Zuckerman. And we remember those whose yahrzeits we observed this week. Udo Beetowitz Bates, Anne Berlin, Ida Blumenthal, Frank Kantar, Murray Capel, Cy Carrick, Betty Catania, Amiran Dadvand, Samuel Dorfman, Helen Drutz-Stelnick, Nathaniel Feiner, Samuel Finkelman, Elaine Fox, Esther Freeman, Mary Gelbard, Rose Glazier, Bernice Goodman Winston, Devorah Grossman, Alan Halberstadt, Bertha Havelock, Harris Havelock, Rebecca Hockman, Dora Kalman, Alan Kaplan, Mattie Jane Kirchhoff, Faye Kopstick, Sam Kreisman, Ubby Krakauer, Pearl Narol, Esther Peffer, Izzy Politsky, Faye Ordauer, Fania Scheinberg, Jacob Isaac Shapiro, Arthur Sherwin, Lenore Sherwin, Irving Schum, and Jack Stiss. And as we do each Shabbat, we remember some of the Jews of our adopted town of Michle, Czech Republic, who perished in the Shoah. Kurt H. Meitner, Oscar Meitner, Willem Meitner, Ruzhena Meitnerova, Egon Morgenstern, and Oswald Morgenstern. If anyone at home has the name of a loved one for Kaddish whose name I did not mention, please share their name with us, share their name at home aloud. And we rise together as a congregation wherever we are. We remember too at this time those members of our armed forces who have died fighting overseas, our brothers and sisters in Eretz Yisrael who have died in so many wars, and all the innocent people of this world who have lost their lives to violence, conflict, hatred, the chaos of nature, or neglect, as together we pray. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, ve'alma divarach irutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon u'v'yomechon, u'v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, v'agala u'v'zman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehei shemei rabbah mevorach le'olam u'lamei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal shemei dekudesha brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Da'amiran be'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Osei shalom b'mromav. Hu ya'asei shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved. And together we say, Amen. At Temple Har Tzion, we acknowledge that we are situated on traditional territories and treaty lands. The territories include the Wendat, Anishinaabeg Nation, the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, the Mississaugas of the New Credit First Nations, and the Métis Nation. As Jews and as a community, may we always strive to fulfill our Jewish value of tzedek tirdof, the pursuit of justice in our society. Just a few announcements before we conclude. Monday morning minyan services are held via Zoom, Sunday mornings at 9 a.m., Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7:15. Torah study takes place tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. on Zoom. Monday at noon, the Rosh Chodesh group will study, I'm very curious, Fish and Chips, the Jewish Connection. I do not know what the connection is. Monday at 7 p.m., Gil Troy, a professor of Jewish history at McGill University, will speak on Trump or Biden, who is better for Israel and the Jews. That you will find all the links in your e-blast. Wednesday at noon, a very special extra lunch and learn with Rabbi Michael Weiss and me. It's father and son teaching the rest of Esther. So we'll be looking at the additions to Esther and especially the Dream of Mordechai, which is my thing. Thursday at noon, Lunch and Learn continues, and we've just done our second week of studying Reform Responsa. And this coming week, we will continue. People can send in suggestions, and this week we'll be actually studying the requirements for a minyan and how that affects us during this time of COVID. So one of our newest responsa we'll be reading. All things Purim. Purim is coming. Thursday at 7 p.m. is our Purim spiel based on the musical Gypsy. You're going to love it. It's going to look different, I know, but we'd love for all of you to be with us. There is a virtual Purim festival on our website. Don't forget to submit your Purim costume pictures for an upcoming Connect newsletter. Shirley Kahimkar, one of our members, will be speaking on Sunday for the WRJ, the Women of Reform Judaism. There's information in the e-blast, and she'll be talking about growing up Jewish in India, which should be very interesting. Please refer to our e-blast for details, links, and other events. Go to heartzion.ca, check out our Facebook and Instagram pages, and like the things you see, and that way they'll spread. I think that's how it works. And we will conclude this evening with the singing of Oseh Shalom.
Oseh Shalom b'imroma, uyaseh Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Oseh Shalom b'imroma, uyaseh Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Oseh Shalom b'imroma, uyaseh Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Oseh Shalom b'imroma, uyaseh Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.